watch out with the I statements. Like, I don't have the right setup. I don't have enough money. I'm behind everybody else. I'm not ready. Every single time you say you're essentially reinforcing your identity.
Happy Monday and super welcome to today's episode. So happy to have you here, Lorna. How are you feeling today?
I am good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good. Just back from a very successful event last
Yay.
week. So I'm on cloud nine, as we are when things go well with the horses. Now catching up a bit of work, we just said it before we started recording. It's like, it's amazing when you're away and you're focusing on the competition. Then you come back home and you're like, oh, I've been away for 4 days and the Tour de is just huge. But I just said before, at least my horse went well, so it all doesn't matter.
Always something to be grateful for, huh? Even in the middle when you're stuck in all your work. Always something to be grateful.
Yeah. But it's funny how, when the horses go well, it's like everything just feels so much easier. You can kind of deal with all the rest. Yeah.
A reward for all your hard work, for sure.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So what we are going to talk about today is, when you have like those huge goals, but then you feel like there's so many reasons why you can't get there. There are the fact that you don't have enough finances. There are the fact that your family isn't supporting you, that you haven't been born into a really wealthy family, that you have kids, that you are getting older. There's so many reasons as to why it's not going to work if we look for those reasons. And we're going to talk about later today how you can turn this around, how that's not going to get in your way. But before I dive into that, if you're interested in diving in a little bit deeper together with myself and Lorna to work on your mindset on a little bit of a deeper level, then do go to mindig.eu/coaching. Right, Lorna. Let's dive in. Like, this was a message actually that I got. I hear this from a lot of people, right? We are so good in listing up all of the reasons why we can't get to our goals. And this lady in particular, she literally said like, okay, I have those massive goals. I want to be riding FE events, but yeah, all those reasons I just said, like I'm getting older. And the first thing I told her, I was like, do you mind me being a little bit blunt here? Like, I love you, but like this, and I'm doing this out of the utmost love from my heart, and I really want to support you. But what I'm hearing here is someone finding all the reasons why it's not going to work out. And here's the thing. If we look for the reasons why it's not going to work out, we're going to find them. We're going to find all the reasons, because there's always going to be reasons why it's not going to work out. So the first thing I told this lady, and I'm going to tell anyone to when you feel like that, it's like, what questions are you asking yourself? Are you asking yourself, what are all the reasons why I can't make this work? Or are you asking yourself, how can I make it work?
Yeah, love that. I always say it's got nothing to do with your circumstances, and it's got everything to do with your belief. Because if you do not believe deep down in your heart of hearts that whatever it is, whatever your goals are, whatever you're striving for, you're always 100% going to find a reason to tell yourself now is not the time. And sometimes these reasons are valid, for sure. Like, I get that 100%. But for me, it always, and like you say, we talk to people day in, day out. We coach so many riders. It's got nothing to do with your circumstances. People can blame your horse, or your truck's not good enough, or you don't have enough money, or you don't have the best trainer, or everyone else is better than you, or you don't have the time, or exactly what you say, you're not in a wealthy family, whatever that looks like. It's just a way, and this is my blunt line after you talking about your blunt line, is it's just fear dressed up. It's just fear dressed up in whatever way you can almost justify it in your mind.
Yeah, 100%. I love you said blame there. Blame. Yeah, we blame it on something. And for me, that is making excuses. That is making all the excuses why you can't make it work, so that actually you just don't have to admit that actually I'm afraid to go after it, and that it's not going to work out.
Yeah. And, I do understand, like, sometimes our circumstances are really valid. But the problem is when you buy into that 100%, you don't fully, it's the reason we don't try. We don't just give it a shot because we want to stay safe.
Yeah.
I'll wait until, I'll go for it when, I'll push myself when. Like, those are statements we hear all day long, but I promise you, that moment will never really come. Like, if your belief system is not there, you're waiting for a moment to bite you on the bum that's actually never going to come up and say, hey, today's the day, or now is the time, or yeah.
Yeah. The perfect circumstances doesn't exist, and they never going to. Perfect by definition doesn't exist,
No.
right? So just as with anything, the perfect circumstances to go after your goals or start taking the action or make the step up in competition, it's never gonna be there. Like
Yeah.
you create that. You create, and like you it's like the thing, like you only get ready by doing it. Like you only get your circumstances by actually
Yeah.
creating them.
And have a wee look and see where you are hesitating, because I guarantee you are hesitating somewhere. And that can just be holding back in your training. It can be not committing to step up, not committing to actually even entering competitions, and or just playing small, sticking within your comfort zone because you don't want to fail. So there will be a little hesitation or a pause somewhere along, if you have this challenge, along the way. And just, I'd say, like we always say, everything starts with awareness.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can be. I mentioned already like a couple, that it's like I don't have the financial support. I used to always say I don't have enough talent. That was my excuse all those years. It's like I'm not going to go after my writing dreams or my writing goals because I'm simply not talented enough. Which I eventually realized was just a bullshit excuse. But it's going to be different for everyone. But I think, like you say, Lorna, start with awareness. What are the things that you are feeding yourself as being excuses? Or we often dress them up as reasons, indeed. So what are the reasons that you are giving as to why you can't go after your goals
And
or
just
why you
watch
can't
out
take the
as
action?
well. Watch out with the I statements. Like, I don't have the right setup. I don't have enough money. I'm behind everybody else. I'm not ready. Every single time you say you're essentially reinforcing your identity. Like, you're making it very personal. Obviously, it's about you. And the more you repeat that belief and you do it unconsciously, it'll just go over and over and over in your head all day long. Your subconscious mind is listening to all of this information. And more often than not, when people go to sleep at night time, they get in their bed and they're really tired, but your thoughts are whirring around your head about your day and your shit training that you've just had and why you should enter the competition and all that kind of stuff. It essentially manifests as you sleep. So then you
Mhm.
wake up the next again day, and here we have this thought again. Oh, guess what? Here I am again, still behind everybody else, still not ready, still don't have the perfect circumstances. So we're kind of
Mhm.
stuck in this. I am laughing, but it is
Mhm.
serious. Like, we're stuck in this in loop where we're just reinforcing that identity that you're not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, this makes me think about something I saw passing Rob Dial like a while back on Instagram, but it really stuck with me. It was this thing of like, I do it anyways. I'll do it anyways. Like
Yeah.
whatever it is, whatever the reason. And I guess that's a
It
good way when we talk about the loop. That's a very good way in like breaking that loop. It's like, I don't have an arena at home. Well, I'll do it anyways. Like I'm getting older. Well, I'll do it anyways. I'm plus 40. I'll do it
Mm.
anyways. I don't have the financial means. I'll do it anyways. Like
Yeah.
it's like, and how cool is that to be able to say, I actually have people coming to me and say like, what? You don't have an arena at home? You're riding 3-star eventy. Like, how freaking cool is that? Like, you're making it work
Yeah.
despite that you don't have a setup at home. Like, how, like, and then you can turn it around. It's like, how cool is it to be able to say that? Like, I'm riding 3-star. I did it anyways. I did it anyways.
There's somebody else's limiting belief. How can you even do that? But I think it's a really cool example. And you're either reinforcing your limitations all day long, and none of us are aware of how much or how often we actually do that, or you get to choose to build your belief into what you want to do. So you can absolutely make that shift if you're aware of your thought processes.
Yeah, you basically, it just becomes a stumble block the moment that you believe that it's a stumble block.
Yeah.
If you believe that it's impossible for you to make it to 3-star because you don't have an arena at home, you're not going to make it to 3-star
Yeah.
because then you're
100%.
constantly going to keep on
Yeah.
believing that. Yeah, if you keep on believing that, oh yeah, I can't go out there and ride international because I'm not talented enough. Yeah, you're never going to go out there, right? Because that's what you believe, right? But you have to realize that belief really is just a thought that you've thought many, 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 many times. So it's built on just bullshit. Like it's not reality. It's just because you've told yourself that so many times that it's like, I can't make it work because I don't have the financial means. Can't make it work because I don't have the financial means. And then you start believing, and then that becomes your reality.
That's a really cool thing, huh? I can't do it because I don't have the financial means. We talk about affirmations framed in the positive sense towards what you want, but there you go. There's a negative affirmation. It works in exactly the same way. You can tell yourself the same thing, and we're all up for that, whatever that looks like. And we actually did a really cool thing in our community last week where you got the chance that they say the average person walks through a door 50 times in a day. So I challenged those guys to as part of their month, which is all about season preparation. So we do different topics each month. Every time you walk through a door, there's 50 opportunities to affirm what you actually want to do. And it's crazy because, first of all, you don't have the awareness because we're all so busy in our heads somewhere else. Every time we walk through a door, we don't even notice we walk through a door because we're always somewhere else. But if you take the choice to affirm what you want 50 times a day, every single time you walk through a door, repeat that enough and that will become your truth. I don't know that I went down a rabbit hole there, but anyway, I think that's what I was trying. I think that's what I was trying to say. There's an opportunity to affirm what you want, as opposed to, like you said a minute ago, if we keep telling ourselves the opposite, it works in the same way. They're just negative affirmations. You're just affirming your limiting beliefs, essentially.
100%. So what if you were to reframe it in what you do want? And then indeed, I love that thing with like, it's like habit stacking. Every time you walk to a door, tell yourself that thing. Because you're walking through 50 doors on average in a day. So that means that you would have told it 50 times. And remember what I just said, a belief is just a thought that you've thought many times. So actually you can create your own beliefs by just telling yourself that other thing that you do want to start believing, right? And people are like, yeah, but if like my bullshit radar in my brain is gonna go off.
Yeah.
Like if I walk through a door and tell myself I'm a 4-star rider, I'm not gonna believe it. No, you probably won't. Like you won't believe it until you're actually riding 4-star. You know, but
I think,
you can do it in different ways. Eh? Yeah,
exactly what I was going to say is exactly the words that were going to come out of my mouth. It's not, your mind will always pick up on your own bullshit, and it needs to be framed in the positive sense. If you're not a 4-star rider and you keep telling yourself, yes, it's great to have these dreams and aspirations, but you're not there yet. So if you go back to your situation or your circumstances, it can just be simple things like, I'm improving with what I have. I'm making progress regardless of my situation. Like I show up positively, I ride positively, like whatever it is. So we don't need to make them one end to the other. So one is really negative and one is really positive. Like just based on your own circumstances, make 100%. Them reframe them in a way that changes it into a positive sentence.
I'm using my specific skill set. I'm using my personal skill set to get to 4-star.
Yeah.
Like I might not have indeed like the financial means or the family living close by or an arena, but what do I have? Yeah, I have a huge network. I'm a very social person. I connect with people really easily. So that is my strength. And that's what I'm using and that's what's something that I have that other people maybe don't have, so they might have financial means, but I have the social capabilities, which can also get me there. So it's all about like how you, and thereby what I'm doing right now is I'm backing my new belief. I'm showing that it's true, right? Because indeed, otherwise it's just going to be bullshit. If I say, oh, I'm going to use my skill set. Yeah, but I don't believe that I have a skill set yet. And I'm never going to believe that. Yeah. But if I can then start building a case for myself, it's like, no, actually, I have a unique skill set that's very useful.
Yeah. And I think if you want to move on from that, that's an amazing place to start. The next thing, my next favorite thing is visualization. Because if you visualize that you can already ride at that level, okay, so that's not bullshit, and that's in the future that you can visualize you're riding at that level. You can step into that version of yourself, so you see it through your own eyes, like you become that rider who believes it's possible. That is a massive thing that so many people are missing out on, is actually stepping into the version of you that actually can see yourself doing this. And the more you do it, the more real it starts to feel.
Yeah, 100%. Because you kind of you go into the experience. Even if you don't go through it in reality, for every time you go through it in your head, it starts to feel more and more and more and more familiar. It's like when you feel like you meet someone, you're like, oh whoa, I've already dreamt this. Like I've had this experience. It makes it feel familiar because you feel like you've already been through it once, and that's basically what you're doing with visualization as well. You create that experience, so when it actually happens, it's like, oh, I know this. This already feels familiar, and that also makes you think about what we talked about in the beginning. Like, what questions are you asking yourself? Like, you can ask yourself, what are all the reasons why it's not going to work out? We talked about in the beginning. But you can also ask yourself, like, what are all the things that can go wrong? Or you can ask yourself, what are all the things that can go right? What you just did there. You're visualizing all the things that are going. What's the best case scenario? Like, so often we visualize the worst case scenario. Well, what's the best case scenario? What if you actually go after? What if you actually get there? Like, how cool, like, visualize that for a second.
Yeah.
What would that feel like? Crossing the finish line.
And visualize doing it with not perfect conditions, or not perfect,
Oh yeah.
like not a perfect situation, not the biggest amount of money or the fanciest truck or the 100 grand horse or whatever that looks like. Actually visualize it, you as you are with your
Mm,
horse as it is, and decide that
mm,
actually it's possible. Like, it is possible with what you've got.
yeah.
And the reason most people don't do that, because if you fully commit to something, it risks failure. Fact. Like, that
Mm,
is why most people are too scared to do it.
mm,
And that's not, that's not judgment. It is fact from all the guys that we work with. There's fear. And most of the things that hold us back come down to some sort of internal fear.
yeah. Fear that we turn into thoughts, that we turn into beliefs that become a reality.
Yeah.
So it all really starts with shifting that beliefs of yours. And that is obviously exactly what we work with. That's what we work with together with our riders. Shifting that belief, start building your confidence. And if you're curious in finding out more of how we do that, if you want to work with us on a more personal basis, then go to mindig.eu/coaching. Lorna also spoke about the community we have. That is a little bit of a lower threshold program that we offer. So if you're curious in that, you can go to mindig.eu/community, and you'll find the links to all of those things in the show notes of this episode. Lorna, anything else to add to that?
I think just don't let your situation put a ceiling on what you think you're capable for, because it's not your situation. I promise you, it's your mindset. And
Yeah.
if that stays limited, a better situation, I promise you, is not going to fix it. You can have all the money in the world, you can have all the horses that you want, you can have the best trainers, you can have the fanciest truck, you can have it all. But if your mindset stays small and it stays limited, I promise you, nothing will change.
Exactly that. Because as long as you continue to look for the reasons why you can't make it work, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
And here's one thing actually that just came to mind that we can we just can finish off with. But here's the thing. I might not be in the situation you're at. Like, I don't have kids. Like, there's many people who have a different situation, right?
Yeah.
But what I can guarantee you is that there's someone else who's been in a very, very, very similar situation, and they have found a way to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's finding a way to make it work for you. Building your belief, but building your belief whilst taking action at the same time.
Amen to that. So with that said, we're going to challenge you to start making strides in your mindset so you can truly make strides in your riding. And we will see you on the next Magical Monday.